What's going on, everybody? It's your boys over Days off DFS here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown for what do we got? 3, 6, 7, 8 game slate that we got on today's slate. Hopefully, let me make sure DraftKings actually, 8 games. Because you know, sometimes they be not including some of these late games. But we're here to go ahead and break this down. Hopefully, you guys had a pretty good night last night. Hopefully you guys had a pretty good night last night. Definitely was some good value that came out, especially with the Brooklyn Nets news, with the fact that they were pretty much resting everybody. So if you guys were able to jump onto that, and if you watched the video, I did talk about a couple of players who were honestly different makers. Jalen Williams going last night for a career night for him, new career high, everything, just been playing amazing. Had an amazing, great night for him. He killed it. And who else actually legit smashed last night? Chris Middleton, he was actually good play, even with Giannis out there playing. He looked really good. I got it wrong on the Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I figured it would have been Devin Booker that would have actually stepped up, but nope. It was KD. KD had an amazing night. He smashed. He killed it last night. And then Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, both of them smashed, literally. Took turns pretty much smashing in that matchup right there. So all in all, some pretty decent plays. Cash last night. Good night. Hopefully rolling it forward into tonight. Like I said, trying to end the year out strong. So if you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content putting out. Drop a like on the video if you guys are truly enjoying the content. And let me know down in the comment section, who was your biggest stud last night that paid off for you, and which value play did you take from the Brooklyn Nets that actually smashed and did really well. Hopefully you guys enjoying it. I got face cam, brought the face cam back, got some stuff situated, organized and whatnot, new computer setup, you know, my Christmas gift. So working with that now. So I will be able to do the face cam videos more for you guys, so you guys actually see me again. But if you guys would rather not look at my ugly mug, just let me know. I'll put the pictures back up instead. All right. So looking at tonight's slate, go ahead and start with the injury report like we always do over here. For Detroit, they are going to take another L on tonight. But if you are a betting person and you want to bet for a crazy upset, this would be the game to go ahead and take that upset. It's a 16.5 point spread in favor of Boston, which really legit, unless Boston rests everybody, I don't see any way the Pistons truly win this. And this is when stuff happens. When we don't expect for it to happen, this is exactly when it will happen. The Pistons are going to somehow go in here and beat Boston by 1, 2, whatever. They're going to somehow win. That is what will happen on a slate like tonight, where they're a huge favorites. 1,300 spread. 1,300 line in favor of Boston. 1,300. So yeah, the odds I might just even go on Fliff and just take just a chance, just magical, that somehow Detroit wins this game. Just be stupid. But anyway, Killian Hayes, Thompson, both of them, they're expected to play, be good to go for tonight's game. Over here on the Boston side, Jason Tatum, he did participate in shoot around. I'm getting notifications coming out, and boom, there it goes. So Jason Tatum, he's available to play. Jaylen Brown, he will be ruled out with his back. So like I just said, somebody has to be ruled out. Something has to happen in order for that for this to actually change. So news is going to be rolling in. I do kind of like doing this around the noontime because I start to get the injury news and stuff, and I can actually react to it as I'm going through everything. So Jaylen Brown, he will be out. Jason Tatum, he's going to still be playing. So I would imagine they move Sam Hauser into the starting lineup out there for Jaylen Brown, since he will be missing, and that'll be the only real big thing that we got to worry about over there. Coming over, Utah taking on New Orleans Pelicans. Nothing to worry about for the Utah Jazz side. Pretty much same thing for the Pelicans. Not to worry about Larry Nance or Matt Ryan. Indiana Pacers, they're still going to be without Bruce Brown, so Nembhard should be still inside the starting lineup for them. And over here for the Chicago Bulls, all their guys that have been out, and it just got word yesterday that Vooch is going to be missing for like the next 7-10 games with that groin. So we're going to get Drummond, who went out there and dropped a 20-20 game. Still showing that he is a dominant big, old school big, but still, nonetheless, man's good. Love what I see from Drummond. Dallas on the back end of a back-to-back. Luka Doncic going up against the #1 seed Minnesota Timberwolves with Karl-Anthony Towns, a game-time decision. I fully expect Towns to play. He was a game-time decision last game going up against my Thunder, and he still go out there, and he still played. Memphis, I will say, let me go back to that. If with Dallas being on the back-to-back, check and make sure that everyone's going to be good to go. I would expect we might get something late in the afternoon for if they're thinking about resting players like Tim Hardaway Jr. He was a game-time decision yesterday. So definitely something I would want to pay attention to over here for the Dallas side, because they could decide they want to rest somebody or something like that. Minnesota, like I already said, nothing really report over there. Yesterday it came out, he was on the injury report. I either was sick or something like that. So definitely want to pay attention to that. I do expect for him to play. Right now, I haven't seen anything other concrete in regards to that. Over here for the Denver Nuggets, we already know that Aaron Gordon, I don't know what dog he was messing with or dogs, whatever it was, but apparently they effed him up pretty good on his hand and on his face. So AG, he's going to be out for some time away from the team. So we should, which I think they do have it right with not Drew, which one? Justin Holiday. Justin Holiday should be slid into the starting lineup here. If it's not going to be Justin, maybe we could probably see some of the other bigs that they have. Not bigs, some of the other forwards, guards that they do have over here for Denver could get an uptick in minutes. But we've already seen this song and dance kind of before from the Nuggets in regards to what they do whenever like AG has been out. We've already actually seen it. Miami, Kyle Lowry, game time decision. Jimmy Butler, game time decision. Haven't seen any updates in regards to these guys, so definitely something I want to pay attention to, especially going into the Bay, playing against the Golden State Warriors, who are still without Draymond Green. Same old stars that they've had, and they've looked very good. Pod, looking like a steal in the draft for the Warriors, has been playing very, very well over his last several games. And then coming down, San Antonio Spurs taking on the Portland Trailblazers. This should be a decent back and forth type game. Two bottom of the barrel teams. The Spurs on the road. Wemby, I do expect them to still be on that minutes limit. Shochan, Champagny, Vassell, Branham, all these guys good to go. Nothing really to report for the Spurs. And then for Portland, they're going to be without Ayton. So we're going to see Reith slid into the starting lineup. And then Shaedon Sharpe, he's already been ruled out. So we should see Brogdon in the starting lineup. But I do got a pretty nice good take over here for Portland. And then the Charlotte Hornets going up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Brandon Miller, game time decision. Mark Williams, he is expected to be doubtful to play anyway. Brandon Williams, interested to see if he's going to be in or out. Not like it makes too much of a difference for me for who I would rather take over here from the Charlotte Hornets. Right now they got Ish Smith slid in as the starting point guard. I haven't seen anything else in regards to where are you at? Terry Rozier to miss this game, so this lineup is wrong. I would fully expect Terry Rozier to be back into the starting lineup. Ish Smith going back to the bench. So definitely don't play Ish Smith if you think he's not starting. He's not. LeBron, for the Lakers, LeBron, game time decision. He's always been. Cam Reddish, Torian Prince, all these guys, game time decisions. They've been game time decisions for half the damn season. They're going to play. I mean, unless they decide they want to rest somebody, or actually, let's go look. All right, so it's not a back-to-back or anything like that for the Lakers, so I would fully expect for Bron and AD and all of them to go ahead and play. The Hornets, they're a competent enough team, especially with at least Terry inside the starting lineup, to actually keep it close. Miles Bridges, he's actually a pretty good player. Gordon Hayward, he's been ruled out, so I understand the 12.5 point spread for the Lakers. I could see them resting some players. Like, it would make sense just because it is the Charlotte Hornets and they're not healthy, so definitely something to pay attention to. But teams like this, where they're out players and players are going to have to step up, definitely a team that we want to attack with a lot of players being missing. If we get the news for the Miami Heat, then that's definitely another team that we're going to want to go in here and get some players from as well, just because, you know, they're down players. That makes sense. Same thing for the Bulls. We're going to definitely be doing that over there. So, yeah, all in all, that's pretty much going to be the injury report that we're going to want to really just look at. All right, coming over here, going over to DraftKings, decided to play the most on. If you guys have won some money over on DraftKings, make sure you drop a like on the video. It definitely helps out. Lets me know that I'm doing something right. Give you guys a little bit something correct. So starting out looking at it, start with the Detroit side. Like I said earlier already, I fully expect Boston to go out here and be able to dominate this game, dominate this matchup. I would be surprised if somehow, some way, Detroit comes in and they actually can pull off a win. But nonetheless, still got to cover it. So if you feel like Cade Cunningham's explosion that he had last game, which they really should have won the game against Brooklyn. That should have been the breaker for the losing streak for them. Cade went out there, dropped 41 points, 63.75 fantasy points. Now, I don't expect for him to exactly go out here and do the exact same thing here in this matchup going against Boston. He's only played them, a couple times in his career, missed a good chunk last season. So I can see a world of going to Cade, but the matchup that he's going to have going up against Derek White, going up against Drew Holiday and Tatum, all those guys are really good defenders out there in their own right. Don't hate it, don't mind it. But if I do take anything, if I want to take a stab at something like that, maybe I can come out here to the sniper and Bogdan Bogdanovic. I know he's going to be out there. He's going to play chunky minutes. He's going to literally just be chucking it. And if they want to stay in it, they want to have a good game, it's going to have to be on the back of Bogdan going out here and being able to knock down his shot. So definitely do not mind taking a GPP stab at him at 6,400. Outside of that, maybe I could see taking a stab at someone like Jaden Ivey if you think he can go out here, keep the turnovers down, not foul, go out there, swipe like he has, and actually get back into double-digit scoring. Another GPP option, but not a must. Definitely not a must. Nobody over here on the Detroit side is a must. But like I said, if you want to play with the thought process and you want to have a GPP line and you want to believe that Detroit can keep this close or Detroit can pull off the upset, then you're going to want to get a piece or two from Detroit. And that's going to be your main hitters, your main guys, Kate Cunningham, Bogdanovich, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren. Any of those guys could possibly go out here and actually have a decent game. Now, looking at game logs, looking at who actually has a decent matchup, who's actually been able to go off in the spot going up against them, I'd say between Bogdan and Jalen Duren would be the two that I would look at. Now, I understand that going up against Kristaps Porzingis, that's something different, but playing up against big physical centers that actually can play and, bump you around, if Duren can keep himself out of foul trouble, definitely would be the GPP option. Came back in that game last time out, going up against the Brooklyn Nets, played 33 minutes, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, a steal, and 12 points. 41.75 fantasy points. Now imagine if he actually can get this point total up, still go out there, get his double-double, get a couple more blocks, things like that. Definitely could be a really high productive night. And just looking at the ownership for these guys, they're under 5% ownership right now, projected for under 5% ownership. So definitely something we could take a stab on. And I would probably say my favorite player from the Pistons will be Jalen Duren. Really, really good GPP option. And if you want to look at it, game logs, centers who have gone up against the Boston Celtics, and this is even with KP playing, Anthony Davis, 66 fantasy points, Zubac, 31 fantasy points, Sabonis, 40 fantasy points. Now, Kevon Looney, Goga, they're both low usage centers, so that's what I'm going to say. I think Duren, he's going to fall into the matchup of like the Davis, of the Sabonis. Zubac, he'll be the outlier because Zubac's not really a high usage center like that. But those players, and then if we want to play a center that is literally similar to Jalen Duren, that would be Jared Allen, who went out there in his first game going up against him, dropped 36.75 fantasy points. And mind you, of course, I'm pretty sure that was with Donovan Mitchell, and I don't think that Garland was out at that time. So got a little something to go off of. I think Jalen Duren probably be the best low-owned GPP play, and that might actually entice me. I might have found my GPP play of the night right there. Might have really just found it right there. Might have really just found it. Now, even if they win or lose, I really do actually like the matchup. I like the idea. I like the thought process going into that. If Duren can keep himself out of foul trouble, that could be the takedown right there. No lie. All right, going over to the other side, looking at it. Like I said, we just got word that Jaylen Brown, he's going to be out. He's going to be missing. So a lot more usage is going to go around for Tatum, Porzingis, White, Holiday. I will say out of all those guys, Derek White is going to be my favorite guy to go ahead and target. The defensive upside, the steals, the blocks, but the playmaking, everything else that he's actually going out there doing. He's scoring very much at a high clip. If you've been riding his points over the last couple of games, he's been killing those. He's been killing it. And I see no reason not to go right back to that. The steal, the block upside, that's also going to be there. And if the Pistons can keep this close, at least for 3 quarters, I do believe that he can actually get there, especially for fantasy points, if you're looking for a prop or something like that to actually go ahead and take. But Derek White, I really do like him here in this position of spot. Now, if we're going to want to play for blowout, then of course, we're going to want to look to the players off the bench, the Sam Hausers, the Quetta, who else? O'Shea Brischetti. That's actually if Brischetti actually plays because he is a game time decision. And then Peyton Pritchard. That's going to be where these guys are going to actually come in. Maybe we could see, some more minutes for a Peyton Pritchard, who we do know can go out here, play 20-plus minutes, and drop the house on somebody. 4,500. Sam Hauser, I do fully expect for him to go out there and start. Low usage whenever he's out there with the starting lineup, but if he's not getting the shots, he's getting a couple rebounds, he can definitely pay off for you. But at 5K, there's some better value out here on today's slate. I don't see the need that I have to go shove in a Sam Hauser by any means necessary at all. Porzingis and the other main starters, they're definitely going to use up a lot of that usage in that starting lineup. So Hauser, he's just like, he's there, especially just being thrust into the starting lineup with the rest of the starters who have a much higher usage than him. Outside of that, I'm not really looking too interested in anyone over there. Like I said, favorite player from for them over there, that's going to be Derek White, just for the upside and everything that he has. Now, if you want to come down for the savings, go with Drew Holiday, lower owned. I would definitely expect, coming off of 3 straight games of 40-plus fantasy points. I'm not going to blame you, hate you, or anything like that if you want to go there. Going over to the Indiana Pacers, taking on the Chicago Bulls. This should be a very interesting game. Really don't have too much interest in anything over here for the Pacers. You can mess with the Halliburtons, you can mess with the Miles Turner, Nembhard, Mathurin, Nesmith. If they start Smith again, if they start Jalen Smith again, I don't hate it, don't mind it. 23 minutes, dropped 29.5 fantasy points, didn't fully play the whole game out there. Really was kind of bummed that he didn't actually get more minutes because he was cooking when he was out there. So don't mind, don't hate that. Outside of that, literally nobody is a must. Nembhard, he has a pretty good matchup in regards to going up against opposing small forwards against the Bulls. But other than that, not going to worry too much over here about the Pacers. And then over here for the Chicago Bulls, with Vooch being out, Drummond got a huge price jump. Went from 4,700 up to 7,500. And I'm still going to tell you, it's a smash down spot for him again. I could definitely see him going out here. I'll go back down to the means in the world, because of course the scout report is going to be coming back up for Drummond. We're going to get some old scout reports, but he's going up against the center in Miles Turner, who can actually stretch the floor. Unlike Clint Capella, who's going to stay underneath the basket. Same thing with Neko Kongu. These guys are going to be playing in the paint. Miles Turner, he will stretch the floor. He's going to go out there. He's going to try to knock down those threes, because he knows Drummond, he's going to sag. He's going to stay inside the paint. So the upside could still definitely be there, because I know Turner, he could be definitely foul prone and also turnover prone. The upside for Drummond to go out there and have a really great night is still going to be there for him by any means necessary. And I mean, we did just see legit Shane Goat went out here, dropped 60 plus fantasy points, which is exactly what Drummond just dropped going up against Atlanta Hawks. It's in the cards. It's definitely there. He could definitely go out there and do it again. Offensive rebounds, all those things. And definitely, if PrizePicks actually puts up Drum Dog's offensive rebounds, if that ever comes up here, if it comes up, I'm definitely going to be hammering that offensive rebounds. I already have a couple of plays that I am going to go over in another video for you guys. So if you guys are actually looking for prop plays, I will have that out after I go ahead and get this finished right here. But anyway, Drummond, don't hate him, don't mind him over here. But I will say, without Vucevic being out there on the floor, DeRozan 8-3, kind of a little bit too cheap for him, and the upside and the usage that he is actually going to have over here for this team. I really do like the upside for DeRozan out there. 40 minutes last game, dropped 39 fantasy points in that game. Let's actually see, do they still have minutes up here? Nope, they don't have minutes. I was going to say, if they actually had the minutes up there, I wouldn't mind taking DeRozan if they have it too low. But DeMar DeRozan, 8,300, really do like the upside that we can get for him. And then I'm going to say this. Alex Caruso was pretty much the pivot play that you could have went to last game. Dropped 28.75 fantasy points over Patrick Williams, who went out there, was in a decent matchup as well, going up against Atlanta. 25 minutes, only gave us 8.75 fantasy points. All that also was due to the fact that Ayo Dosunmu came in, played 35 minutes, dropped 40 fantasy points. Now, this is going to be the game. You're going to go right back to Patrick Williams. The matchup is just as good as what it was the last time when he went up against Atlanta. As matter of fact, might even be better, because we have seen opposing power forwards going up against the NM Pacers go out here and drop really great games. Paolo, 49 fantasy points. Jaren Jackson Jr., 32. Mikal Bridges, 34. Kawhi Leonard, 33. Karl Anthony Towns, 72. Kuzma, 45. And I'm not going to say that he's going to go out here and drop a 95 fantasy point like Giannis did, but the matchup is definitely going to be there. If the shot's falling, the rebounds are actually flowing, and he can actually get his defensive stats, it's a really great spot, especially when everyone else is instead wanting to flock to Alex Caruso, Ayo Dosunmu, because of the big games that they just had. Patrick Williams is going to be your sneaky play that you're going to go to instead, who's going to come in at much lower ownership, looking at under 5% ownership compared to Alex Caruso, Ayo Dosunmu currently right now. So definitely keep that in mind. I just gave you two sneaky plays, two smaller, lower value plays that you can actually go to that everyone's going to be flocking to something else. You can get the upper hand right there going to that. But our favorite play for the Bulls is going to be DeMar DeRozan. All right, Utah Jazz taking on New Orleans Pelicans. This would be an interesting game, long as the Utah Jazz can actually keep this close. Really, it's kind of cut straightforward and dry over here for the Utah Jazz. Lauri Markkanen be the main player I want to go to. Outside of that, Colin Sexton, he's okay. Jordan Clarkson keeps himself out of foul trouble and can actually knock down the shots. Another great play that you can go to. Outside of that, not really going to mess with too much over here for them. Not with everyone back and pretty much healthy for them. You got Keontae George, Walker Kessler, John Collins, Taylor Hunt Tucker, Kelly Olynyk. Too many mouths to feed. Main usage, all that goes to Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, and then it trickle down to everyone else. Those would be the main two guys I want to focus on. If I take anything over here for the Pelicans, definitely would be like fillers if I'm filling in my lineups and finishing it out like that. But other than that, I'm not going to force. I'm not going to make anything like a staple or a must over here for them. Going over to the Pelicans. All right, so a player that I'm going to have to say, and I hate playing this dude because he's been inconsistent, literally. Super inconsistent, but the matchup is too good for me to pass up. And if the Pelicans can if the Jazz can keep this game close, which they have done in the past two games that they actually play going up against them, looking at it right now, looking like 100 to 105 was the first game, and actually the Pelicans lost both of these games going up against the Jazz. The Jazz have actually beaten the Pelicans. They've been close games every time they played. Now, granted, the Pelicans are playing at home. They were playing in Utah the last two times they played them, but nonetheless, either way, the matchup is too good to pass up, and he actually did really well in the matchup the last time he played them. That's going to be Zion coming in at 7-7 underneath Brandon Ingram. Long as he goes out here, he scores, he actually rebounds, he plays is the biggest thing about Zion. If he plays, he put forth the effort and actually can go out here and have a decent night. I do like the matchup in the position spot for him. Definitely a spot where he should be able to smash, long as he actually plays the dominant level that he can actually play. That's why I hate playing Zion. I hate playing him for props. I hate playing him for anything, because anytime I play this guy, he's always just completely dog shit, let me down. Now, outside of that, everyone else is in really great spots. Brandon Ingram, if you would rather go to him, I think technically more security, more safety, pretty good usage, scoring. He does everything in regards to stuff in the stat sheet, rebounds, assists, and also blocks. It's a good matchup for him as well. Opposing small forwards and shooting guards have done very well going up against them. In their own right. CJ McCollum, if you feel like this could definitely be a bounce back spot for him after laying 2 duds back to back. Really, of course, a great matchup. We know Clarkson and them, they really don't play any defense between Clarkson and Sexton. So I do like that spot position. And then Jonas Valanciunas, if you do believe in him, definitely a good spot. And I will give you guys a freebie in regards to a prop play that I'm on. I was already had it pulled up. Jonas Valanciunas, 8 defensive rebounds. I do have his rebound prop period to go over the 10.5. I want to say they haven't met, but he's been gobbling up on the defensive side. Unless they start Walker Kessler, and Walker Kessler can actually limit him. But if he's going up against Kelly Olynyk, there should be no reason why he cannot yank down 9 defensive rebounds, period. He does more on the defensive rebound side than he does offensive, unless it's everyone's missing their threes, something like that. But I really do like the upside for him here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give this one out because I was on it, and in the Discord we have this joke in regards to bait. His 3 points made prop, I took the under. He has gone over this only 2 games at home so far this season. So I took the under on the 3 points made. Right now I think it was like a -130, -150 over on the books in regards to being a favorite for the under. So if you want to ride it out with me, go ahead. But that's another play that I went ahead and I took for Jonas on today. All right, going over to Dallas taking on Minnesota. I will say the number 1 seed, Minnesota. This should be a tougher matchup for Dallas. I do feel like Minnesota should be able to dominate this game. Dallas is playing on back-to-back. They played a really close game last night going up against the Cavaliers. And Luka hasn't done really the best on back-to-backs so far this season. So I don't hate, don't mind, honestly fading Dallas. But if you feel like you have to go ahead and you get up here and you want to play Luka, we have seen opposing shooting guards have done pretty decent going up against the Mike Conley defense and everything. But he's going to draw that Jalen McDaniels defense is who he's going to actually be on him. Kyrie, I don't expect for him to play. He should be considered doubtful. Yeah, I don't think Kyrie's going to be playing. Like I said, I definitely want to pay attention to see if Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to actually be good to go. Exum, I can see this being an Exum game where Exum steps up, considering that Doncic is going to have the tougher defender on him in Jalen McDaniels. Exum, he might draw the Ant defense, might not. That might be Tim Hardaway Jr. that gets Ant, so that might leave Mike Conley on Exum. I can see him having a decent game. Lively going up against the Twin Towers. I don't like it. I'm not even going to mess with that right there. Derrick Jones Jr. Honestly, I'm not even messing with any of the bigs over here for Dallas. I don't like Dallas, period, on today's slate. They're honestly a fade for me if I'm messing with anything. Over on the Minnesota side, long as Cat plays, I do like Cat. I do like Rudy. I think they have probably the best matchup out of everybody over here for Minnesota. They should be able to dominate. They have no one that can mess with the 2 7-footers that Minnesota has over there. This should be a really great game for either one of these guys. And then if Cat was to miss Rudy, I see no reason not to want to actually play him going up against Lively. Center that's not going to pull him out of the paint, anything like that. Sure, Luka might try to hunt the matchup, but other than that, I still do like Rudy. The block upside should be there, the rebounding upside, and the offensive putbacks. Though all those things should be there. Definitely be a bounce back game after getting slaughtered by OKC. I really do like the upside right there. And then, of course, if Cat was to miss, then Nas Reed, Kyle Anderson, those guys would get a boost and a bump. And then, of course, Jaden McDaniels, he would get a boost and bump as well. Other than that, not going to mess with too much over here from Minnesota. Memphis Grizzlies taking on Denver. Like I said, long as Ja plays, I really do have hope that Memphis can't keep this close. From top to bottom, if you want to go ahead and pay up for Ja, don't hate it, don't mind it. Not a must. Drop 50 fantasy points. Of course, game went to OT. We got hooked on his assist last game because they took one away from him. Bullshit. I still call bullshit on that. Outside of that, I'm not really too interested in anyone over here from Memphis. So we're kind of getting to the fade games for me. Teams that I really don't have too much interest in at all. So you can take it with a grain of salt in regards to it, but no one over here legit grades out as a really great play to me by any means necessary. You can take a stab at some of the value like Salty Adama, Xavier Tillman, but other than that, I'm not messing with anybody over here for Memphis. Then over here for the Denver Nuggets, I do like the Joker, 11-3, pretty easy matchup going against Tillman, going up against Bismack Biyombo. I'm not scared of either one of those guys. And then, of course, without Aaron Gordon out there, his rebound should take an uptick, and so should his assists. I know you would think Jamal Murray, he's going to get an uptick in his assists, but AG, he's a pretty good playmaker as well. So without him being out there, I do see his assist numbers and his rebound numbers going up, and just honestly his scoring, because you're going to have to make up for about 15 to 18 points that Aaron Gordon himself used to bring to the table. And Justin Holiday, he's not necessarily going to be the big scorer. I would expect more minutes for players like Strother. He should see a couple more minutes, and then Braum. Both those guys should see some more minutes with Aaron Gordon being out, that will slide Michael Porter Jr. down to the power forward position. He will be matched up going up against Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm not going to say I'm scared of Jaren Jackson Jr. defense. He is the defensive player of the year, but hasn't really been playing like it this season. So the Joker, I really do like his upside, his position spot. Michael Porter Jr., don't hate it, don't mind it, but not a must. Favorite play over here for them is going to be Nikola Jokic. And then if you believe that we're going to get prime Jamal Murray again, which he's been playing very well over his last several games, I don't hate mine going back to Jamal Murray. It should be a good matchup between him and Ja if the game stays close enough. Now, going over to the San Antonio Spurs taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. This is a game that I do believe we can actually stack. Two bottom of the barrel teams, two teams that should be able to keep it close. They're not going to blow anybody out by any means necessary. And just looking at it, just game stack worthy to me in my eyes. So the starting lineup, it's been fluctuating back and forth. Long as we get the correct starters in regards to the starting Champagny, the starting Braum, Shochan, Vassell, and Wemby, that should be the starters. Now, unless we get word that Wemby is off of his minutes limit, I am not going to mess with Wemby. I know he can go out there, and I said it. He can go out there and smash, which he did. 24 minutes and dropped 40 points, 25 fantasy points in that last game. I'm not going to say he can't go out here and do it, but I'm going to temper those expectations unless I get word that he is off of that minutes limit, because he's going up against a backup center. No DeAndre Ayton. Centers have actually been eating going up against Portland Trailblazers anyway this season. I would love to play Wemby. Price came down 300 off of his 9K last time. I wouldn't mind it if we get word that he's off of the minute limit. I really would love the upside. Outside of that, I do like Shochan here going up against Jeremy Grant defense. Don't hate it, don't mind it. Since they moved him back down to the power forward position, which is his more natural position, he's been playing very well. 3 out of his last 5 games, he's gone over the 30 fantasy point mark, sitting at 6'3". I think that's decent mid-tier value that we can go to and play. If you want to mess with some other players, Champagny, Braum, both lower usage players because a lot of the shots, everything flows to Wemby, Vassell, and Shochan in the starting lineup. But Champagny, we did see he was a decent value last time out. 31.75 fantasy points, dropped 16 points, 2 steals, a block, an assist, and 5 rebounds. I'm not going to hate it. And he did that in 25 minutes too. Pretty good. Don't mind playing Champagny if you land there as a possible value play. And then Kellen Johnson coming off the bench, I don't want to mess with that. 6K, I don't like that at all for him. And then same thing, Zach Collins, 6'3". It's just a little bit too much. I know his minutes are, they're just too not with Wemby, not since he's been moved to the bench. I'm not even going to mess with that. Now, going over here to Portland, Anthony Simons, I do like him. We have attacked opposing point guards going up against the San Antonio Spurs. I understand that him and Brogdon, they're kind of technically splitting this duties. They have been starting Brogdon since Shaedon Sharpe is going to be out. He's missed the last couple of games, so Brogdon will get the start. If you want to mess with Brogdon, I don't hate it, don't mind it. 7,400, really good spot for him as well. But I will say, Scoot, off the bench, has looked good. He looked very good in that last game. It's starting to somewhat click. And I think this could be another game for him to click and make it go more here in this position of spot, going up against another soft team and a soft matchup for him. Now, I will say, I was surprised that the Portland Trailblazers went out there and they destroyed the Kings, honestly, from the jump. So Scoot, I have some interest. He dropped 300 in price, but the minutes are very good. As long as he's getting at least those 20 plus minutes, it's a really soft matchup. I think that his scoring will definitely be on display. If he's finally figured it out in regards to the playmaking as well, I really, really, really love the upside for Scoot here in this position, this spot. It's just kind of like a nice position. Now with DeAndre Ayton being out, we are going to see some minutes and stuff for a Moses Brown. He got the start. I want to say last game, played 14 minutes, dropped 17.25 fantasy points. So he's a big dude, and they probably will try to match him up out there with Wemby just because he's so big. Or we might see Reith get the start. Played 32 minutes, dropped 41.25 fantasy points. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the chalk value play on today's slate because Ayton is out. It's going to be Reith. Literally 3,800 for a starting center. We're kind of in the Andre Drummond role right here in regards to him. Opposing centers, even though Wemby, he's all great in everything that he does, but opposing centers have actually done very well going up against the Spurs. So I really do actually like Reith. Like I said, you really can get a game stack from this game. It's game stack worthy from all sides on this one. But Reith is kind of your value play for today, and then I would probably run it back with one of these guards over here from Simons, Brogdon, or Scoot as something I want to bring back. That's pretty much it over there for Portland. All right, going over to Miami, taking on the Golden State Warriors. All right, over here for the Miami Heat. Looking at him, really, we just need to know if Jimmy Butler's going to be in or out. Looks like he participated a little bit in shoot-around yesterday. So if Jimmy is in, then that's going to take a hit. For some of these other players like Tyler Hero, Bam, maybe. Depends on what Jimmy Butler decides that wants to come out and play. I wouldn't imagine that if he's playing, he would be limited because Jimmy, he gives everything 100%. He's not going to just do it half-ass. And I would expect for him to want to get up, and play pretty good inside this matchup. But out of everybody, Bam Adebayo, I like the way that he's been playing over his last several games. I do like the upside for him here in the spot going up against the Golden State Warriors, who really don't have a true big that they play. They're playing out there with Kevon Looney. He's playing sub 20 minutes. Then they'll put out Dario Saric. They'll sometimes roll out Kuminga, and it's a mixing pot of what they do. But still, opposing centers have actually done pretty decent going up against him. So I really do like Bam Adebayo with or without Jimmy Butler if he plays. And then if Jimmy is to miss, then I do like the upside for Tyler Hero as another play as well. Yeah, I mean, if you want to take a chance on like on Jaime Jaquez at 6'3", don't hate it, don't mind it. Kid's been playing pretty good. Now, for the Warriors, really the best play to me is going to be Pod. Kid's been playing very well. Should be getting that Tyler Hero defense anyway. I do like the upside. He literally is a stat sheet stuffer. And probably another reason why I do like Steph Curry for under his rebounds and assists today. That would be a play that I would go to and play, just because Pod, he's really just assuming that responsibility and looks more like the point guard when he's out there without Chris Paul and things like that. So do like the upside for Pod at 5'7". Definitely do feel like this would be a spot where he could be able to smash, and I just like the value that we can actually get to him right there. Outside of that, not really too much that I want. Tracy Jackson Jr., he's the other center that they've been running out. Like I said, they really don't run a true center out here for them, so it's kind of a mixing pot. All right, Charlotte Hornets taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Over here for the Hornets, I really don't like anybody, if I'm telling the truth. If players were to miss again, then of course you're going to want to look at like the Terry Rozier, Mikal Bridges, and Nick Richardson. Those will be the main guys that should be able to, do something. Outside of that, if you think the game's going to blow out, then Bryce McGowan's and Nick Smith Jr., those are going to be the two guys that you're probably going to want to go to off the bench. And then over here for the Lakers side, of course, it's going to all flow through Anthony Davis, LeBron James, as always. Austin Reeves off the bench is going to be decent play. And then if you do think the game could possibly just be a complete wash or something like that, then maybe you want to get to some plays off the bench like I'd still say probably Austin Reeves would be the safest one, and Rui off the bench. Now, if the game can't stay close, Taurean Prince, he does grade out as a very good play. Stands in the corner, knocks down his threes, plays defense, plays hard, and I do like the upside and everything that he can actually bring. But outside of that, I'm not really going to mess with too much over here from this game, unless we get word that LeBron and AD are going to sit or something like that. I kind of don't have too much interest in a late night hammer from over here outside of Austin Reeves, who can trip his way and make his way to actually get there. Been a minute since we've had a 35-plus fantasy point game from Austin Reeves. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the content and you enjoyed the breakdown. If you guys did, drop a like on the video. Let me know down in the comment section, who do you feel like is your main stud that you have to actually play on today's slate? Hopefully you guys did make it this far. I will drop the prop video as soon as I get this one rendered and uploaded. With that being said, it's your boy Zoe. Peace.